I figured I'd make this like a 3-part video slash edit it back into 1 part at the end, but I'll upload it in 3 segments. But as you can see, the motherboard, everything's obviously clearly out of the system, but I'll go over it. The motherboard itself looks pretty clean, obviously because the airflow design was designed to go over that heat sink, and as I showed you already, bottom side's pretty clean as well. As you can also see, I took the battery out just to ensure that there's no shorts and to let it all die down. But as you can see, it is nice and dirty. And even what people don't realize is a speck of dust, you know, anywhere on, obviously it's not going to focus in well, but any speck of dust, you know, like on that chip, which is not visually zoomed in, and I can't hold the camera, I'm trying to use the phone, but if you ever look at a circuit board and you see how small everything is, a speck of dust jumping across 2 of these leads with just a hair bit of moisture in there on a high humidity day, like 80%, you can actually have a short and not realize that your computer is just not working right because it's just slowing it down versus an outright short out. One thing I was actually surprised to find in the power supply, it is not as bad as it could have been. However, it will still get a bubble bath just to ensure that it's you know, perfectly clean and everything. And people have a misconception about fans and water and everything else, but to be honest, if you wash it and you give it power right after you wash it and you're not using a detergent on it, it's not going to fry it out or kill the bearings. The problem is people use a harsh detergent or an alcohol based or something else and then let the bearings sit there, as much as it's like the crappy bearings, but the bearings just rust, and when you actually have it running while it's drying, it won't rust, and it comes out to be better. It does have a decent heatsink design on the PSU, the power supply unit, so it had the airflow, you know, going across pretty deep, across it decently. So that's going to be easy. All of it is. I forgot to take this board out for this part of the video, but don't really need to see it. But it's also, actually you can see it, but you can see that it's actually got so much dust on it. You can see I just wiped it away, that the USB ports on the front of this, had you hooked up a web camera, it wouldn't be working right. It'd be glitching out. Just to give you an idea, like how on one side it can look clean. This is the modem, which is not going to be used again. This side had no airflow on it, yet this side did, and you can see the difference, and you can actually see how much debris will just wipe away with my finger. So you can actually see, like, it got pretty dirty, and it's just gonna be fun to clean off. So, and then here's the front cover. This is really fun when you're taking apart, especially a Dell that's got let me show you, it's got a multi-component. This actually sits in here, and this is screwed down to the case, so you have to take all this off. And one thing I hate about these, you know, heat sinks that everything's designed for, you know, quick change out, etc., etc., is that if you notice, this chip actually adhered itself to the heatsink plate, and it will come off. However, when I was pulling it off, and it didn't do any damage, because when I take off CPUs of this age, I already know to expect that this is probably what's going to happen to me. But to a novice, you're going to go off on an angle, and you're going to bend your pins off or break them. And as you can, I should put that down right. You never want to put this down this way, you know, upside down, or even this way, because something else can fall on it. It's best just to leave it like that. But as you can, let me just take this back off. There's obviously 4 screw holes there. But to take a chip off, you're really supposed to pop that up and then pull the chip out. Well, on this, there was no way to do that until, you know, until everything was removed, i.e. the heatsink. Well, taking off the heatsink took off the chip as well. So that comes from experience to know how to take this stuff off, you know, properly. This is going to be, you know, really easy. It's just held on there with solder points, so I actually can change it out with You can see there's a solder point there, a solder point there. Where's the other one? There's a solder point there and a solder point there. Not very common on a bridge to have solder point junctions, and it's got a little bit of epoxy. So actually, I might not be taking this one off. I'm gonna do a thermal test, see what the backside temperature is versus the front top, and do a couple infrared images. But as you can tell, it's this thing needed a severe cleaning. If it even wanted to continue running for the next couple of years, for even another year, to be honest, this thing probably would have died out probably within the next year, not only from not loading, but from the heat damage, because what I did notice on the CPU and from a test that I was able to run on it real quick, it has gotten extremely hot and been that way. So it is recoverable for now, and it's gonna run good. You know, for what it is, it's Windows XP and a Celeron. Don't even know if this motherboard can support a P4 change, but wouldn't even be worth the cost difference unless you could find a P4 for not, for like $10. The memory probably should be upgraded to 1 gig at least if the motherboard will support it. But again, when we put this back together, it will be spotless and not one bit of dust on there. One thing we really don't have to go inside and clean is the DVD drive too, because there's no real airflow on it. I will be cleaning the laser head on it, just the top head, just for that. But so when we're done, we'll see this thing back in primo condition again, clean, and you don't have to worry about wearing a white glove and being completely dirty from it. So we'll see y'all on the other side.